Welcome to Whiskey One, the channel for the novice, the curious, and the connoisseur. I'm Whiskey One, and today we have Daniel Warren from the Albuquerque Whiskey Society here today to talk all about whiskeys for the holidays, so stick around. Alright folks, so if you're like me, this is like your favorite time of the year. Right? I don't know about you, but I love fall. I love fall. I like when it gets cold. Here in New Mexico, which is where we're from, it gets hot. And it's hot like most of the year. And so usually I'm just kind of waiting for it to get colder, waiting for those leaves to drop, because like some of my favorite whiskeys to drink are the ones that I enjoy right about this time of year.
Agreed. I love to sit by a fireplace and drink a good whiskey. Just something about it. Just special.
Yeah, so we both have a Glencairn full of whiskey that we poured for the other blind. So I don't know what this is, but I think by the end of the video I might be able to figure it out. We'll see if our palates are like what they should be, and or if they're not. And then we need to kind of retrain ourselves, right? So we'll basically get kicked off. We'll each have a bottle that we like to drink during the holidays, and really why. We won't get into the tasting notes in depth or nothing like that. We won't do a whole study on it. But I think that this might be the video for you if you're wondering like, what is the right whiskey to drink or the perfect whiskey to pair for like this type of holiday season, right? So Daniel, do you want to get us kicked off here?
I will get us kicked off here. So my first one that I had brought was the Family Estate Willet, the Straight Rye. It's a small batch. It's a four-year-old rye. I really enjoy this whiskey, but especially around the holidays. To me, when I drink this one, I know immediately when I'm thinking this is like a caramel pie. I mean, it's totally a caramel deliciousness. So I really,
which is surprising for like ryes. They can be mostly spicy.
It's really crazy. So caramel, apple is really in this one, and it's just become a great whiskey for me to drink around the holidays. So I think all the Willet lineup that they do, that family estate that they do, it's phenomenal. The green, pretty readily, the green top. When I say the green, I'm talking about the green foil. That's how you can identify it on the shelf. Pretty readily available. Everywhere.
And this is a small batch rye. Again, like you said, readily available. Yeah, and those that like are in the know, if you got the purple, everybody knows what they're talking about. It's usually like the high-end bourbon stuff from Willet, which is, from what I hear, very, very, very tasty.
Yeah, this one is 110 proof, so it is a little bit higher. This is one of the highest proofs that I brought today. Try not to get too proof heavy on some of these my recommendations, because I just don't want it to be out of some people's wheelhouse. This one I don't think drinks like 110. I think it drinks much less.
Yeah, and just to sort of like let you guys know like the focus of this video, we wanted to basically pick out whiskeys that are either readily available, they're not very hard to find, they're also affordable, because there's certainly some very, very high-end stuff that you want to drink during the holidays, and we're going to have some honorable mentions towards the end of the video. And speaking of which, if you are joining the Whiskey One channel and you're new to the channel, please definitely think about subscribing, drop in a comment, let us know what you're thinking, and if you're a return sipper, I like to call you guys the return sippers, keep dropping those comments and let us know if there's a whiskey that you would like us to feature next, and really what your thoughts are for whiskeys around the holidays. I would love to know what you're sipping on during the holiday season. And Daniel, like that's a great one to start us off with, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
So now it is my turn. We can keep that one in the shot just to kind of keep you guys on par where we're at. So for me, when I think of like the Christmas holiday season, I really can't think of a better choice than the Angel's Envy Rye that's finished in rum casks. Now, this one to me really blew me away the first time I tried it. And the reason why was I first tried the Angel's Envy Port Cask Bourbon, and I really wasn't that enthusiastic about it. I didn't get a lot of flavor from it that I was hoping to get. But once I tried this really changed me, and it won me over for being an Angel's Envy fanboy, if you will. year after year, I definitely make sure that I have a bottle of this ready for the holiday season because it's like sipping on ginger snaps and ginger cookies, or when you make that gingerbread house. This is like the aromas I get from it.
Yeah,
very
awesome.
Candied, very or aromatic, and again like lots and lots of molasses, and very good to drink around the holidays. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you know what I picked. So, with that being said, what's your next whiskey?
My next one is, it's real easy to pick rye whiskeys for the holidays, right?
Yep.
So, I had several ryes that I was going to bring, but I decided to change it up a little bit and bring the Old Forester 1910.
Very nice.
It's a 93 proof bourbon. I picked this one because it's a classic, it's a staple in my collection. I think it has the chocolate baking spice. Like when you walk into your mom's house and she's making cookies or a pie, this is what you get to me when I get into her house. I smell the same thing in this bourbon. So whether it's making a pie, cakes, whatever, it's all the baking spice, chocolate is all over this one.
Yeah, and this is so readily available,
Yeah.
guys. Old Forester, in and of itself, they have this core lineup that you can find on the shelves at any time. Especially the 1910 and 1920 is like personal favorites of a lot of folks that drink whiskey. But this one is definitely on the sweeter side, but not like a proof bomb where you're like, wow, that's really intense. So I
almost picked the 1920, but I went with this one because of proof and because I think it brings in more subtleties of the flavor that you get in there. And this, for a 93 proof whiskey, it's a real heavy whiskey on the palate. And that's what I like. In the wintertime, you want something that's cozy and comfortable, and it really just wraps you up. And I feel like this does that.
Awesome. And then we'll definitely have like more details of the whiskey within the description of the video. So we won't kind of get too far into the whiskey tasting notes and stuff like that. So that's a great one, by the way. That's awesome.
Right.
So now my turn. Number 2. My number 2 is probably going to be a love it. Well, it's definitely going to be a love it or hate it. All right, it's going to be a love it or hate it, and it's none other than the Balcones Brimstone. All right, now this is going to be a polarizing whiskey, just because of how different it is from most whiskeys. So Brimstone is basically a blue corn bourbon that's been infused with smoke during the distillation process. It doesn't get its smoke from the barrel or anything like that. And a lot of the color is actually during the process of the distillation, because on the back of the label, it'll say aged for a minimum of 1 day. So kind of interesting that it gets this much color on a whiskey. Now Balcones does have really dark whiskeys, but the reason I like this one around the holidays, it's if you've ever had a Kahlua or a coffee liqueur, this is right on par with that sort of flavor, right? Really intense caramel, salted toffee, smoke, of course. I would say like kettle corn, if you will, but like a toffee and coffee bomb. This has those dark chocolate notes too. And around the holidays, like I will probably go through at least one of these bottles because it's so flavorful. Now, have you tried the Brimstone?
I have. We did. I've tried the Brimstone. I actually don't own Brimstone bottle at the house, surprisingly, but I have tried it. It's really good.
If you guys have tried Brimstone, definitely let us know your thoughts in the comments. All right. So what's our next one?
All right. For my next one, I went down the gamut. So I went with a Scotch. But I went with a Speyside Scotch because I kind of figured somebody else might go with a smokier Scotch. But then I realized if I want to drink a Scotch in wintertime, I want it to be smoky. This Dinriac Smoky 12 is a Speyside, but it is a smoky Scotch.
Yep.
Now, it's not the smoky Scotch. It's not an Islay smoky Scotch. This to me is a fireplace Scotch. For those that don't really want an Islay type of Scotch, or don't really like it as much, but want a little bit of smoke, this is where the sweet spot is on that. Lots of fruit. It's almost like a fruitcake. I know some of you may not make fruitcake. Oh no, but the aroma of fruitcake is like those dark fruits, the dark fruits, and that baking spice, the baking when something is being cooked. I'm not going to say baking spice, but just the whole thought of like a cake being cooked. So it reminds me a lot of like a fruit cake, sitting by the fireplace, drinking this, watching the fire go. So I really enjoy that.
Yeah, and so those that may not know, like why we mentioned Islay versus Speyside. So think of Islay Scotch or those smoky Islay Scotches as being more like medicinal. You get more like brininess to them. And then those that are like Speyside or even Highland Park style smoky Scotches, those would feel like more of like a woodsy type of smoke, like fresh logs added to the fire, or like old leaves that have been like kind of cooked or something like that. But that definitely a good choice.
It's a good one.
And now I want to kick my feet up by the fireplace and have one, honestly. All right, so that leads me to our last one. All right, now
I knew it was coming.
Yeah. So not only is Bruichladdich one of my favorite distillers, especially Scotch. I gravitate to Bruichladdich because so much of their whiskey has a bit of like a wine influence. They typically start like a lot of Scotches with, ex-bourbon barrels. Maybe they kind of experiment with like ex-rum casks on top of that, or they use like a sherry finish. But Bruichladdich likes to use wine casks, and not just sherry. Actually, they use like Chardonnays, Pinot Noir. You go from there, or I won't get too far into the weeds, but this one in particular is very smoky. Definitely a smoke bomb. So those of you who do like smoky whiskey, this is going to be right up your alley, and it's very accessible and very affordable for what you get. To me, Bruichladdich is sort of the cream of the crop when it comes to whiskeys that are affordable and accessible, and for the most part, you can find these pretty much anywhere, whether online or definitely at your local liquor store, and it won't break the bank too. So this will actually be a good gift idea too. If you have a friend that likes like peated Scotch, this is the one for you guys.
And I think all these would be great gifts because they're all not overly priced, but they're all quality whiskeys.
Right, exactly. So not only is the price point where you want it, right around like 50, 60 bucks.
Yeah.
Some of these may be a little higher. Like this one you can get like 80, 85.
Well, it's 70-ish.
Yeah. But you know where your money went. Like your money is well spent when you get these, right? You're not going to regret spending a little extra cheddar. And so, are you ready for the honorable mentions?
I think we are.
Yeah. So I'm going to pass these to you.
Yes.
And we can talk about them. These are our honorable mentions. And again, the focus of this video was not to point out whiskeys that most folks will likely never be able to get in their lifetime, or just will have a very difficult time finding. But these are what I would refer to as you definitely must drink these during the holidays. Now, these two were my picks. I know you brought the Thomas H. Handy,
I brought
but
the Handy.
I'm not alone in George T. Stagg.
No, I have a Stag. I just didn't bring it because you have one. But yeah, I mean, in the winter, these are high-proof bourbons. They're special bourbons. And I really like to get out my special stuff around the holidays, especially if somebody's coming over to hang out, exchange some gifts, pour a glass of one of your really nice whiskeys, and sit there for the next hour and get hang out with your friends and get to know the whiskey. And the only one that we didn't get the bottle out for that I love to drink, but it's also very hard to find, is the Midwinter Night Dram.
Okay.
And that's it's hot by High West.
Yep.
But it comes out in the fall.
Let me actually show you
yeah,
that
grab
bottle.
it.
So I'm going to grab that.
Grab
bottle.
that. And that bottle they've been releasing them for the last 10 years. I think this is their 10-year anniversary. And they become pretty hard to find as well. So I'll let you sit there right in the middle.
Sure.
And it's to me, this one screams fall. But we didn't put it in because it's not easy to find either.
That's
but
right.
It does get some honorable mention.
And it's an annual release too.
It's an annual
right?
release.
A limited edition annual release. A lot of liquor stores these days sell out before they even have a chance to put it out on the shelf. So what a lot of liquor stores will do now is just kind of put it as part of a lottery or something like that. But yeah, this is a very good suggestion, by the way.
It is.
It's just very hard to find. So again, for all you watching, hopefully this gives you enough ideas for the holidays. Definitely plenty of options. And if you're lucky enough to get some of the more limited edition stuff, Let us know which one you like, especially if you have one that's very difficult to find, but it's like the one you go to time and time again. And again, this is like my favorite time of the year because this is when I tap in to this stuff. I've been waiting almost all year to get to it, right?
Yeah.
There's no better time to crack into them, so man, I'm already like, my mouth's watering. So before we end the video, again, Daniel poured this dram blind, and I poured his blind. And so, Daniel,
I've been
do you
drinking
want to
mine.
take a guess, like which one this is?
I feel pretty sure that this is the Angel's Envy rum cask. You can tell as soon as you smell it.
It is.
You're like, did you pour me a rum?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I know what this is. So
It is. It is.
And it's pretty obvious when I kind of knew your 3 bottles that you were bringing. Makes it pretty straightforward. And I'm assuming you have a very good guess as to what's in that one as well.
Yeah, too easy. So definitely the Willet.
Definitely
the
yeah.
Willet. I mean, the rye is like the quintessential rye whiskey.
Yes.
Like, you know it as soon as you drink it.
It's a really, I love that rye.
Yeah. A lot of like spiciness and all those things that you described, but you get that eucalyptus in there.
Yep.
You know, fresh green tea, if you will. But I can see why you
Classic rye.
Classic.
Elevated is what I like to say.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks for stopping by,
Thanks, my friend.
and sharing your whiskey for the holidays. So those of you tuning in, thanks for stopping by as well. We hope that you guys like get your hands on these whiskeys yourself, and let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if you have a specific whiskey that you would like to see us talk about next time for the holidays. And here at Whiskey One, it's about the one you enjoy. Cheers.
Shut up and sit down.